If you run and fall on the side of the road because you're looking at the bird in the sky, you might first assume that it was the bird's fault. But you can also look back and check what were you doing before the fall. It might have been because you had a headache, or you were drunk, or because you were too distracted because you were texting. This is called fallacy of a single cause, or causal reductionism. It outlines that the things rarely happen for just one reason. Usually, outcomes result from many causes conspiring together. But our minds cannot process such a complex arrangement, so we tend to ascribe outcomes to single causes, reducing the web of causality to a simple thread. A second mental process you might probably go through from time to time is the one called cumulative error. This outlines that beliefs are built on beliefs, so one wrong thought can snowball into a delusional worldview. Remember when your grandma said that whenever you are sick, you need to feed a cold and starve a fever? The classic saying suggests that a cold can be cured with proper food intake, while a fever will burn off faster if you starve it, and fast. This old saying started a few centuries ago, when it was believed that colds were caused by a drop in body temperature. The idea was that eating more could help raise the body's temperature, and thus killing the cold. The starve a fever recommendation likely came about from believing that eating food activated the gastrointestinal system and raised the body temperature, thus negatively impacting the body if it was already suffering from fever. And is this old saying true? Yes and no. When the body is fighting a cold, it needs energy in form of calories to fight off infection and recover. And the catch? The same applies to fever. And likewise, in this day and age, as inaccuracy is reposted on the web, more is added to it, creating fake news. Cumulative errors are the norm. If you've ever been in charge of a team, you know how frustrating the next cognitive bias can be. Let's say you work at a software company, and you need to give Claren, your newest software developer, a performance review. And she is indeed exceptionally good at developing code, but she lacks a few critical programming skills. And you did recognize this skill gap before hiring her, and set up training sessions for this reason. But when you mention Claren's programming skills gap to her, her reaction will surprise you, because she truly thinks she's exceptionally skilled at programming, and she does not need training. She's also so brave to think that she is the best programmer on the team. This is called the Dunning-Kruger effect. Awareness of the limitations of cognition, i.e. thinking, requires a proficiency in metacognition, i.e. thinking about thinking. In other words, and this might sound blunt, being stupid makes you too stupid to realize how stupid you are. Not only Claren was unable to recognize her own weaknesses, but she overestimates her skill in comparison to others, believing herself to be better than some of your best developers. Her lack of knowledge on the subject makes her unable to see her own errors. And this is why 90% of the drivers think they are better than the average driver. In social psychology, there's one phenomenon where a group of people goes along with the norm, even though all of the group members secretly hate the norm, because each mistakenly believes that the others approve of it. This is called pluralistic ignorance. This is also described as no one believes, but everyone thinks that everyone believes. As a student, drinking on campus in countries where alcohol use is prevalent in colleges and universities might seem a normal thing to do. Students drink at weekend parties and sometimes at evening study breaks. Many drink to excess, some on a routine basis. The high visibility of heavy drinking on campus, combined with reluctance by students to show any public signs of concern or disapproval, gives rise to pluralistic ignorance, where students believe that their peers are much more comfortable with this behavior than they themselves feel. There's one more tactic which is used by politicians and world leaders that involves the release of previously hidden information in order to prevent a greater exposure of more important details. For example, a politician accused of snorting cocaine may confess to having smoked pot in college, and this is called a limited hangout, revealing intriguing but relatively innocent info to satisfy curiosity and prevent discovery of more incriminating info. The public is so intrigued by the new information, it doesn't pursue the matter further. The new disclosures are sensational, but superficially so, or also identified and publicly exposed to twist uncomfortably on network TV and in the press. While there are nearly 200 cognitive biases, this is just a handful you might want to pay particular attention to. and that it might provide a good starting point for understanding a wide range of phenomena.